It's a Fam Bam Bible Jam. Morning, evening, whenever you can. You can listen, you can sing, you can talk, you can pray. Let's have a Fam Bam Bible Jam today.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Welcome to Kids Church. Today in Kids Church and for the next few weeks, we'll be going through Paul's letter to the Romans. It's a wonderful, wonderful letter that explains really clearly the gospel. Today we're going to start off with Paul telling us and telling everyone that no one is good, that none of us do the right thing all the time. We all sometimes get things wrong. And that can be a really hard thing to hear, that we're not good, that no one is good. But the good news of the gospel that Paul shares is that Jesus, the one who is good, gave us his righteousness, this gift of righteousness. So let me read from our Gospel Story Bible. Paul's missionary work in Asia and Macedonia kept him from travelling to Rome, but now he was planning a visit. He wrote a letter to them to let them know that he was coming. I hope to see you on my way to Spain. I hope you can help me on my journey after I've enjoyed your company for a while. First, Paul was going to Jerusalem to deliver the gift the Gentile churches had collected for the poor. After that, Paul said, he would go to Rome. Paul's letter to the Roman believers was much more than a note to announce his visit. Paul filled the letter with teaching about Jesus. Having never met Paul, the Romans only knew about him from the stories and reports they'd heard, and not all of the stories about Paul were good. So Paul wanted to tell them about his ministry. Even more importantly, Paul wanted to tell them about the gospel he was preaching. Once they heard his teaching, Paul was sure the Christians in Rome would welcome him. Paul first explained that it was Jesus who called him to be an apostle. Then, step by step, he taught how the gospel saves people from their sin. When the Romans finished reading Paul's letter, they would know exactly what he taught and believed. Paul quoted from the Old Testament as he explained how everyone is a sinner who needs Jesus. He used the words of King David and said, "As it is written, none is righteous. No, not one. No one understands. No one seeks God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one." Paul taught that we are all sinners and that none of us can please God on our own. One day everyone will stand before God as our judge, who will know each and every law that we have broken, every lie, every angry word, and every evil deed. Paul's talk about sin must have sounded pretty hopeless. But Paul didn't end his letter there. He also shared the good news of the gospel. It's true that we're all sinners and can't earn forgiveness by doing God's good works, but God offers to give us his righteousness as a free gift. Jesus came to earth to live a sinless life so he could give his perfect righteous life as a gift to everyone who trusts him. Then Jesus died in our place so we could be forgiven. That's the good news of the gospel. Paul was eager to preach the gospel in Rome, but he couldn't wait to tell them about it. So he wrote it all down for them in this letter, that they might believe in Jesus too. Paul wrote that he was not ashamed of the gospel, which he said is God's power to save everyone who believes. Did you know that God kept Paul's letter to the Romans safe, and it's part of our Bible today? Today we can enjoy Paul's letter to the Romans and read his wonderful explanation of the gospel. Paul's letter is just as much God's letter to us as it was to the people of Rome. Sometimes it can be really hard being told that we're not good, that we do things wrong. I don't like being told when I make mistakes or when I get things wrong. It makes me a bit sad. We all want to be able to earn everything. We want to be able to be good for our parents, be able to be good for God. But the gospel tells us that we're not. We're not ever going to be good enough for God. But God loves us and sent Jesus for us, so he forgives us and gives us this gift of righteousness so we can be friends with God and part of his family. Guys, it's great leading you at Kids Church. I'm sorry we still can't see one another in person yet. I look forward to when we can. I'm hoping that today I get to see some of you on Zoom and just say g'day and see your faces again. I miss you all, but I'm very thankful for God's great gift of righteousness. That even though none of us are good, God loves us because Jesus died for us. See you later.